Hello, my name is Nova Spell, and welcome to Spyro the Dragon Vortex, which is a miscellaneous category that allows for the use of in-game cheats, with the requirement that you must enter all the levels and exit through the end-of-level vortex. Flight levels are omitted because they don't have vortecies, and we don't go into Gnasty's loot because it requires 100% to enter, even with using cheats. This is one of the most technical and trick-heavy categories, so expect to see a lot of really cool, flashy stuff. And I'm really excited to show it to you. Because we don't need to get dragons, gems, or eggs as a result of putting in the cheat code, we found a lot of really inventive ways to get from point A to point B as fast as possible. So, first things first is the cheat code. We put it first because it's very easy to mess it up, and trying to do square, square, circle, square, left, right, circle, up, right, down as fast as possible without ruining it is kind of a pain. So just doing it first things first is optimal there. Stonehill's pretty straightforward, nothing special going on there. We're just taking a straight line. Going into Town Square is the first example of a little baby skip. A lot of the ledges in this game, the developers sort of put tantalizingly out of reach, but we can abuse Spyro's mechanics and charge onto ledges at a very specific angle that allows us to kind of wiggle our way onto them anyway, which is what I'm going to be doing here. Just like that, and we're over to the end. Coming up is Toasty Wall Glide. The way that wall glides work is if a wall is angled away from Spyro, facing upwards, then you can use it to gain height and distance. Well, not so much distance, just height, and you can be parallel with it. So we're gonna use these polygons on the wall and then jump through Toasty's head, because it's not solid at the top there, and then load into the level that way. It skips going around, freeing Argus and all that jazz. Okay, so what you just witnessed there is Dog Proxy. I like to explain it after the fact because there's kind of a lot going on and I have no time to preface it. So, Dog Proxy involves using the damage from the shepherd as well as the janky hitbox on that dog. And for some reason, because they're so close together, they just kind of send you to Mars. We go on a little bit of a space trip there before coming back down to the atmosphere. It's a lot of fun. That trick was initially believed to be task only though, so it's really cool that we can just use it in runs now. It's still not easy, but thanks to Farnia, he found an RTA setup for it that works pretty consistently. Dark Hollow is pretty straightforward, nothing too special going on here either. Just going to the end. And after this, we are done with Artisans, so we're going to be going to Magic Crafters. Typically, you'd expect us to go to Peacekeepers, because that's the second homeworld, but there's an element of RNG later that allows us to get into Peacekeepers and skip a homeworld. He'll take us straight to a level. I'll explain it more when it comes up, but his name is Tuco. Because of that reason, we put Magic Crafters first. We have the liberty to decide what homeworld we do first because of the code. So for this reason, you'll see a lot of runners of Vortex change out their routes all the time. For a while, I used to do Beastmakers first, just to get one of the harder tricks out of the way. Great. So in Alpine, we're going to be using a charge glide, which is pressing square right before X to get maximum speed on your glide immediately. And what that does is it allows us to get more distance than we would get from just a normal glide because of that extra speed. And we're higher up when we have this, so we go a bit farther. The rest of this is pretty straightforward. I'm gonna ignore this guy. He doesn't scare me. And into the vortex. Coming up is Caves. Another level without too much going on. It's kind of a nice break, especially if this is late game in your runs, to do these levels, because it's sheesh. A lot of the run just has back-to-back trick execution. It's like a gauntlet. We're gonna charge kind of against this pillar here to juke the bug. He thinks we went the other way. Kind of outplayed him a little bit there. And then we're gonna take the supercharge and just go to the vortex room. Alright, coming up is a little scenery jump that we can do to get into Wizard Peak. We'll just use the supercharge and the slanted wall here to skip some of the movement around it. Just like that. There's another example of that in this level, but it's one of the more difficult ones. I'm gonna go for it because there's a very safe backup right next to it, which is a damage boost. I'll explain that a bit as it happens. Go up, take the supercharge, and come up on the scenery jump right here. Yeah. Oh, I actually failed that bad enough to where I can't even go for the damage boost. It's unfortunate. If you charge next to that guy, if you keep supercharged, then he will hit you and the momentum from your supercharge will be transferred and you'll go upwards and you can kind of boost up the wall there. There's more damage boost coming up though, actually in this level, so you'll get to see it. This is one of the more lenient ones, that, like, this was my first trick that I learned in this game, so it's sentimental to me a little bit. We're gonna bait this guy into shooting his lightning, and we're gonna use it to boost up the side of the wall. Like so. I'm just gonna go right over. And the rest of Blowhard, it's just a straight line pretty much. Well, I guess it's a curved line. Spiral. Alright, this is Tuco. He is the element of RNG that I was talking about earlier. And the thing about Tuco is he has a 40% chance of giving us a beneficial outcome. And he gave it to me first try, let's go. So, there's a leftover dialogue from, like, before you put in the cheat code, and it's because before you leave Magic Crafters, you're required to have, I think it's 5 eggs. And if you don't have those eggs, which we don't, he will suggest 5 different places. Those being Clifftown and Dry Canyon, which are the ones we want, and Stonehill, Magic Crafters Homeworld, and Wizard Peak. He was just nice to me for some reason, so we're just gonna go straight in. And the reason why we want him to do that is going into Clifftown and Dry Canyon completely skips the load into the start of the homeworld. And it skips all the movement from the start of the homeworld to the level. So that saves like 20 seconds. It's pretty cool. And it doesn't matter if we get Clifftown or Dry Canyon because getting Clifftown loses like 2.5 seconds to getting Canyon first because they're like right next to each other. It's not that bad. And these 2 levels, kind of a breather as well. Canyon is straightforward. We tried to get the fodder at the beginning here, but they weren't there. Those rabbits were out of the way on vacation. Okay, so coming up after this level is Dr. Shem, and I'm starting to explain it now because it's kind of a crazy trick. Barnia, again, found this one, and it involves baiting an enemy into one of the pillars, and then running into a corner and baiting him again so that he charges into the corner after you. And you damage abuse when he hits you, and it like squeezes you out with damage in the wall, and it just like boosts you into the sky. I just like got in the way there. Kind of annoying. Do my best to show you. It is frame perfect, so it's not the easiest. Do our best. And we got it. So if we jump the moment that he swings his knife at us and we take damage, it boosts us up like that, and we can just glide straight through that wall, because it's not solid. That level's sort of blink and you'll miss it, so it's one of my favorites. Cavern is another level that utilizes a wall glide. This is one of the most aggressive wall glides, actually. You kind of have to, like, face it very aggressively at first and then slowly feather back out. See what I mean as I do it? I don't think I have the height to make that. That's unfortunate. We'll try that again. This actually only saves a second over going the other way, but it's definitely very cool looking and worth going for because it's not that hard. I'm bonking though. Classic, like, marathon nerves, I suppose. I don't know. Try one more time, and if not, we'll just run through. There we go. I just wasn't getting enough height at the beginning there. That's okay. And next we are going to go to Beastmakers. So the reason I go to Beastmakers is because of fodder routing. If we do Beastmakers before, if we do Beastmakers before Gnasty's world, then we will be sparksless, which means that, like, we won't have any hit points, so if we take damage, we die. And we need to damage abuse in one of the levels. Luckily for us, though, there's a level in Dreamweavers. I don't know why I flamed that. I didn't. We death abuse after haunted towers, and it just resets our sparks anyway, so that's the optimal thing to do. This level involves another damage abuse boost, as we call them. Explain it as we come up on him, but the rest of it's pretty chill. Also, this damage boost isn't bad at all. It's one of the more lenient ones in the game. Little cheeky wall glide there. Gonna run up to him and charge right into his chest, and that just boosts us up. It's kind of funny looking. And we're gonna fly over that guy because we don't like to get shocked. Alright, coming out of here, we're gonna be going to Misty Bog. Pretty straightforward level. We are gonna take a bath though. I'll show you what I mean. I don't know if you guys like swamp water, but I certainly do, so I'm gonna go dive in it. Doing this allows us to get to the vortex, because you can just straight up ignore the rest of the level if you go this way. I guess them having it not visible was their way of being like, don't go that way, but yeah, we're gonna go this way. Coming out of here, we're going to be going to treetops. Treetops is another example of a level where you need a pretty good charge glide. It'll become more apparent as I do it, but it's kind of a tight set of inputs, and you need to have a good amount of height and distance to make it where I'm trying to go. I'll hop right up here. Full hop charge glide. That has not that much height, yeah. I could tell that wasn't gonna work. That's sad. That hurts me a little bit, but that's okay, we recover. There we go, that one looked much better. And we are going to charge over here. And into the vortex. We charge through that fodder normally. It doesn't matter now because I died, but going into Metalhead, we want to have both sparks. Fodder routing is very important at this level. The reason for it is because of this trick, which is called Metalhead Wall Glide. Metalhead Wall Glide is one of the most precise wall glides, if not the most precise wall glide in the game. That's RTA viable anyway. And I'll do my best to show that off to you guys here. You can using the wall, you can clip through at the end. There we go. Just clip through that. I think I'm gonna make this. My height is very low, which is a bit concerning. But we're good. And then we're gonna do the same thing that we did in Misty Bog. And we're at the end. That trick is a major run killer. The angle that you take on the wall is, again, very precise. I'm glad I got that. Next up is Dreamweavers. Dreamweavers, in and of itself, is its own sort of gauntlet of tricks. I would argue that it's the hardest world in Vortex and probably the other categories as well. And notice how I'm sparksless here. Luckily we'll be death abusing after Haunted Towers, so it's not a big deal. I'm gonna be going for this thing called Blizzard Proxy, where if you glide in between his arms and like underneath the brim of his little hat, he will send you upwards with his animation and you'll kind of be flopped into the air. We can skip getting the fairies and breaking the wall. There we go. That was actually a strange angle, but luckily it had forward speed and momentum, so it was good. Now we're gonna be doing this supercharged turnaround, which I just bonked on, but this allows us to go backwards through the level in an unintended way. I got an auto jump there, but it didn't kill me, thank goodness. I got quiet there because that's a very precise set of jumps back to back to back. And it auto jumped me, which if you saw me do a little bounce during part of that, I didn't do that on purpose. Sometimes this game just likes to do that when you're supercharging and on like ledges and inclines and things. It's a bit frustrating. Right, coming up is another damage boost. This is, I think, the most precise damage boost in the run. I'm going to be going for a thing called Quick Shot, which makes it even harder because I won't be able to see. But luckily I'll be able to just back it up if I miss. And we got it, let's go. So normally you want to be able to see that wall, because the positioning that you're in is very important. You need to be able to see where Spyro is angled compared to the arch of that door. But luckily, didn't even need to do that. Lofty Castle is not too bad. There's not really crazy tricks here, but there is a lot of tight movement and platforming that you need to be able to do. Lots of charge gliding. And we're gonna jump up onto this scenery and then skip over to here. Freeing these fairies is necessary because we're gonna need the whirlwind to get to where the vortex is, which is why I'm flaming these cages. Can't really get up there as we are, so. And away we go, off to Jacques. So, Jacques is one of the more straightforward levels. There's a little jump at the beginning that I'm gonna try to go for. I'm gonna try that twice. It saves a second, but it skips flaming the Fool and having to stand on the platform and have it raise you upwards. And I didn't get it. Try it one more time and then I'm gonna flame the guy. Dang it. Alright. Not a big deal. Where'd he go? Oh, he's juking me. There we go. So yeah, flaming him raises that and lets you get up there, but if you do the jump successfully, you can skip flaming him entirely and just get right up there. We're gonna use their platforms and get over this way. Jacques fight is standard. Just chase him, flame him. Platforming is a bit tight though. I've fallen off of these a lot. Like, I've had a lot of runs where I've just like missed my input or gone a little bit too far to the left or something and then just fallen down and had to run all the way back up here again. Yeah, that's Jacques. The last little phase of him, you can flame him and jump where he's standing before his hitbox is there, which is why I kind of just like phased through him there. Alright. We're in the home stretch. We're going to Gnasty's world, aka North Nexus, aka where dreams die. Nah, I'm just kidding. But in Twilight Harbor, there's a very, very hard trick, which is right at the end of the run. So we're gonna free Delbin here, and the reason for that is because we need to free him and exit the vortex in Cove to open Twilight Harbor and Gnasty North. Otherwise, those dragon heads just stay shut and you can't get in. Okay. We're gonna use one of these barrel Norks, which for some reason our community has taken to calling Reginald, which I find really funny. We're gonna get Reginald to boost us up like that. We glide onto his barrel. And we just jump on the scenery there and skip the entire level. That's pretty easy to execute though, so that's not the trick that makes me nervous. The trick that makes me nervous is this one coming up. We will be using the ramp. We will be abusing that to get a supercharge where we're not supposed to. And then jumping off of a ledge, boosting off of that ledge with the momentum from the supercharge. Then doing a little squeeze against the scenery to get over to where the vortex is. Another example of a wall glide right there, by the way. And I don't think that's gonna work, so I'm gonna try that one more time, just to see if I can show it off. Otherwise, I'm just gonna run through the level. I didn't get the height that I needed off of that squeeze. It's unfortunate. Last try if we can get up there, if not we'll just run through. Oh my goodness, okay. Well, I choked that exponentially, but if you get up there, you can squeeze yourself between the scenery that I was in, as you just witnessed. This is, really, really unfortunate. Okay. Classic harbor moment. Just gonna dodge these guys. They're no joke, so I'm taking them very seriously and not focusing on commentating. I apologize. Alright. We are out of there. That's all that matters. But that's, like, everything that could go wrong went wrong there. That's a classic example of Twilight Harbor, so if anything, that's a good way to show it off, because that run, or that level, is an absolute choke point in the run, and that's just Exhibit A. But hopefully you kind of get the idea. I did get a squeeze, but it wasn't high enough to get over to the vortex. Here we're gonna get Fast Thieves, which involves, well, I guess we're not gonna get Fast Thieves, we're gonna get one of them. But you can juke that guy out and get him to run the other way. And doing that allows you to skip chasing him down like that. Okay. Now, this is the very last portion, which is just some platforming. A bit flustered after that Twilight Harbor, I'll be honest, but that's just the way she goes. We get ahead of Gnasty. He tends to run, well, he does, he just runs faster for some reason, and so, doing that makes this segment go a bit quicker. Blame him a bit early for going on the pedestal as well, because his hitbox is active there. This last bit is just classic platforming, nothing really special going on here. We're gonna flame him, and the run is over. That's time. So, that is Vortex. I think this run does a good job of showing things that go perfectly and then things that go astronomically terrible, so I'm pretty happy with that. And hopefully this serves as a little introduction to the category that I love so dearly. So, yeah, thank you for watching. Had a good time. Bye-bye.